everyone, so in today's video I thought I would do it's not a Halloween video, but it's kind of weird and just strange, so I thought that would just fit into the Halloween theme. Basically, I'm going to be talking about the weird dreams I've been having for about 8 years, but they've kind of just got weirder and scarier over time. And I just thought it would fit perfectly, so let's just get on with the video. Also, while I'm talking about the dream, I'm going to be leaving something at the side here and also in the description box about why that dream may have occurred, what does it mean, and I'll leave links to where I found them in case you guys want to read a little bit further into it, in case you've had a dream like it, or if you're just fascinated to do with weird dreams and stuff like that. So before I even went into looking into the meaning of these dreams, I wanted to find out why you have these dreams, when they occur, and I found something which is on my phone here, and it says, nightmares are vividly realistic, disturbing dreams that rattle you awake from a deep sleep. They often set your heart pounding from fear. Nightmares tend to occur most often during rapid eye movement sleep, where most dreaming takes place. So as well as dreams, I've written down on my little notes page, I've also written down weird things that I used to do and sometimes do in my sleep, or I found myself doing after waking up from being asleep. So the first thing is, I used to sing in my sleep or talk in my sleep. I don't know what I used to say or anything, my dad always used to say that he heard me mumbling to something, so I must have been having conversations and stuff. But I just find that really weird. It's you're so deep into that dream or that nightmare that you end up physically talking, it's no longer in your mind, it's then taking over your body, which I find very strange. I've also been really tempted to set up a camera just to see if I can hear myself, just to see if I still do talk and just to see what I say, but at the same time I'm kind of scared of what I might say, who I might be talking to, or if I see something in my room coming from under my bed or in my wardrobe or just anything like that. Anything that's in the dark needs to stay in the dark and stay unknown to me. Another thing I've done in the past is I wasn't getting to sleep until about 5 AM and then having to wake up at 6:30, so I was getting no sleep at all. And one day I was so tired, this was early in the morning, and I was making my breakfast and I fell asleep standing up whilst I was buttering my toast because I was that tired. And it was weird because it's I kind of blacked out, but I was asleep. I don't know how to, I was aware that I was asleep and I was aware that I was standing up, but I just couldn't wake up because I was just that tired. Now on to the dreams. So the first 2 dreams I want to talk about are a couple that I used to have where it was either one or the other, and this started when I was about 5 or 6 and probably stopped when I was about 8, so they weren't, well yeah, they did kind of go on for a long time, but anyway, the first dream was where in my old house we had 3 bedrooms instead of 2, and the spare bedroom, or the back bedroom what we used to call it, I never really liked because it was always cold in there and it always felt really strange. And I used to have these dreams where I would be lying in my bed just casually, for some reason my light would be on, and all of a sudden these trolls, 5 or 6 of them, would just come in and carry me out of my bed, a kind of funny type of way, but at the same time it was scary because they were trolls. And I never know what happened afterwards, so I never used to actually leave my room. I never used to be carried out of my room, because before I would leave the door I would always wake up. So I've never actually found out what would happen after that. The second dream is where it was kind of like I was standing in a shopping mall on one of the balconies looking down on the whole shopping centre place. All of a sudden the escalators that were going up would all of a sudden stop and start going backwards, but no one would like react to it, and it was like it was just normal. And then all of a sudden I would feel like, as in me in my physical sleeping state, would then feel like I was going backwards out of my bed. The next dream I had when I was about 8, and this is like a proper dream, it wasn't like one or the other kind of thing, and it only ever happened once. So basically Winnie the Pooh killed a grandma or an old person, or just an old person Winnie the Pooh had killed. And I remember it was like a pink, everything was like a pink neighbourhood. It was like living in Barbie's world, but Winnie the Pooh and all his friends were there, and me. I remember that we had to drive around the neighbourhood. It was me, Piglet and Tigger and Winnie the Pooh were driving around the neighbourhood saying, oh, she's gone on holiday for a bit so you won't see her for a while, or she's out doing errands, or she's out to see her family, while Eeyore was cleaning up the mess or just removing everything that was to do with the crime. As if that dream wasn't weird enough, I then somehow fell out of the car. I don't even remember how. I don't know if it was out of the back window, which wouldn't make sense, but somehow I ended up falling out of this car and rolling backwards and losing my white flip-flops. I don't know why I remember these small little details, but I was wearing white flip-flops, so I had to pick them up, and because they didn't stop the car, I was then trying to run after them, and that is literally where the dream ended. Like, there was no, they went off into the sunset, or he got arrested, or it literally just ended with me running after this car, waving my white flip-flops in the air. This next dream, I was in year 5, so I was about 9, 10, and I think this went on for like a year, because it was just like a dream that I would have every night. And in my middle school, we had 2 separate playgrounds, one for the year 3 and 4, and then one for the 5 and 6, because obviously we were older, so when we played we were a bit aggressive and the little kids couldn't get hurt. And on our playground we had the changing rooms for PE, and I remember I was standing by these yellow bars on my own, just chilling at lunch or break or whenever, and all of a sudden I ended up with like this scroll in my hand, and when I opened it, it said that I had to look for this mountain. It didn't say the name of the mountain, it didn't say where it was, I just had to look for it. So I had this dream every single night, and I would end up going to different countries and finding different clues to then get to this mountain. I never actually remember where I went to get there. I just remember getting the scroll and the note telling me that I had to go and find it, and me actually getting there and like seeing the mountain in the distance. And the minute I found this mountain, which I was literally looking at like so far away from me, the dream was over and it just ended, and that was it, and I never had it again. I didn't even find out why I had to find it, what was in the mountain, or what was there for me to need to find it. I just don't know, and a lot of my dreams never have a proper ending as to why I had that dream or why this thing happened. So it is still a mystery to this day as to why I had to find this stupid mountain for a whole year. After that dream, I didn't have any like long dreams or ones that I remember since I was about 10, until I want to say last year, maybe the beginning of this year, where I had a dream that somebody tried to kidnap me. Basically, we were in Tesco's petrol station car park, where if you live in Norwich, it's like by the Five Ways pub. So in that awkward petrol station place, and all of a sudden this white Fiat came up, Fiat 500, with blue and red stripes just like on the back of it. And this guy with ginger curly hair got out and started walking towards the door. But because my mum wasn't there because she was inside paying and I was waiting in the car on the passenger side, I, for some reason, must have sensed that something wasn't right because it's this complete stranger walking towards a car. So I tried to reach over to lock all of the doors, which I think in order to do that you have to go over to the driver's side to be able to lock all of them. But because as I was reaching over, he opened the door and grabbed my leg. And at this point I'd woken up, but I could still feel someone with a grip on my ankle and like trying to pull me, but I was awake. Like, I wasn't half awake, I wasn't like the dopey kind of awake, I was full on awake and like sweating, but it still felt like someone had hold of me. And this was like for a couple minutes after I'd woken up, and went on for a couple minutes, and then that was it. I don't know why, but it just happened, and it did creep me out, and I was very paranoid and jumpy for like a few days after that. It had affected me that badly, and I'd never had a dream that had affected me that in that way before, so I wasn't really myself after that. Now, the weirdest ones have been happening this year and started a few months, maybe more, and the first one was a zombie apocalypse, of course, because one, that is one of my biggest fears, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but out of all the supernatural and apocalyptic type things to do with people being killed, that is the one that could potentially happen, because we have a lot of cemeteries. I've got one up the road from me. There are a lot of dead people in there, and some of them may not have even been dead when they were buried, because I have seen stories of that actually happening, and people thinking that they have come back to life when in reality they just stopped breathing, or so that could happen. That's a thing that could actually happen. Anyway, so it was a normal day. I was chilling in my room, probably on my phone, and all of a sudden my mum came up and was like, "Okay, so Brittany, apparently there's a zombie apocalypse. We need to get out of here." I looked out my window. There was nothing at the back, because my bedroom's at the back of the house, so I can see at the back of our house, and my mum's bedroom's at the front. So I ran through, looked at the front, and there were a lot of zombies just doing the typical dead thing that they do, coming towards our house. But our house is on a hill, so in reality it would take them a long time to actually get up there, because you have to walk up these stairs and then, but of course this is a dream, so somehow you click your fingers, you blink, and they're already sudden at your door. So me and my mum had to climb out of my bedroom window and then run round the back to get to the front of the car park to get in our car. The first place we went was to my nan's, because she's like not in the middle of nowhere, but it's kind of like it's quiet. No one ever really goes. It's not like a busy main road or anything like that. It's just a nice, quiet little neighbourhood. But of course, because at the back of my nan's house is a woodland, which is always great to see when it's in the middle of a horror type dream. So we went there, and my Nan's partner was in the kitchen doing a fry up, just the normal standard thing that you do in the morning. My Nan was in the garden, like she always is, and the weird thing is we literally just went up to my Nan's partner and went, okay, you need to stay inside, you need to stay here because there's a zombie apocalypse and we think these zombies might have chased us in our car from our house. Then we had to go outside and convince my Nan to come in. My Nan is a very stubborn person, and sometimes it takes a lot to convince her to actually listen to you and do what she's told. In this case it did. So me and my mum were standing there like, Nan, you need to come in because there are literally zombies on the other side of that fence and you can see them rattling the fence from the woodland. She's like, no, it's fake, you're probably just pranking me, it doesn't mean anything. And we're like, Nan, seriously, get your butt in this house and lock the door. So after about 10-20 minutes of trying to convince her, she finally comes inside. We have to run upstairs because by now all these zombies had come in and they were raiding the downstairs part of my Nan's house. Being the typical teenager that I am, I realised I had forgotten my phone charger and my battery was running out. So in dream mode, literally blinked or clicked my fingers, I'd done something, and I ended up back in my room with my phone charger now in my hand, and I called Mum saying, okay, I've got my charger, can you come and pick me up now? Somehow my mum managed to get up to our house with the car, literally at the front door. Like I said before, we're on like a hill where our house is, so our hill's like, the hill's here, our house is about here, and there's like this thin pathway where you come up these stairs to get up. Somehow my mum had managed to get up them stairs in her car and was now driving right perfectly fitting in that pathway outside our front door. And that was the end of the dream. That was literally the end. Like, the last thing I saw was me looking outside my mum's bedroom window and just seeing our car, and that was it. I do also remember that even though we had zombies come in our house, this place was like, we just left it to go off to Asda. Like, it was a normal house, it didn't look messy, there was no blood anywhere, it just looked normal. The next dream is about someone chasing or walking very fast to, I don't know, it's just like someone chasing me or just something like that. Basically, it was night and me and my friend were in this car park. I don't know why, we were just in this car park and we were standing by this car under, you know, like the orange street lights. All of a sudden, this guy in a navy hoodie came up to us, was like, have you seen my sister? I can't find my sister, and was trying to show us this picture, but because it seemed quite dodgy, me and my friend just ran. But all of a sudden my friend disappeared and I was on my own, and this guy was still behind me asking the same question as if I was like looking at him, and was just like this. And as I turned back to look straight ahead, he was in front of me, but it was a different person. It wasn't, no, it was like his twin, but it wasn't his twin, it was actually just him, but two of them. Basically, he wasn't a twin, it was just the same person, both behind and in front of me, trying to show me a picture, both in navy hoodies, and just asking if I'd seen their sister. So I carried on running, and I tripped over this white fence thing that kind of went like this kind of pattern, and all of a sudden it was day. And as I fell and I hit the path on the other side of this fence, or like wire or something like that, it wasn't even like a fence, it was like that high up from the ground. It's like there was this invisible wall put up and he couldn't get past, and that was the end of the dream. Once again, makes no sense, but I don't know if he found his sister or not, but The next dream is two separate like scenarios in one dream that kind of flow together. So the first one was there was a purge, and I had to hide under my mum's bed, her double bed, with 6 other people for that whole night, as well as like her boxes of clothes, which would leave like this much space for all of us, but somehow we all managed to fit underneath it. And throughout the night I saw people being dragged off, and then obviously I knew when they were being dragged off they were going to get killed because it's the purge. And once the purge was over, I came out from under my mum's bed, walked down my stairs and into my living room. My dad was out the shops just up the hill, and my mum was in the living room with my auntie and she was dyeing her hair. My mum's friend and her little boy were in the garden, in our garden, playing, and all of a sudden I got this text saying, "You've got 10 minutes and then I'm coming to kill you." Right? No explanation. Who's it from? Why are you going to kill me? You had your chance during the purge. You obviously missed it. So obviously right after that, my mum's friend and her little boy left. And my mum finished dyeing my auntie's hair because she didn't want to leave until her hair was finished and dyed. And once she left, my mum decided to do her makeup up and do her makeup so she looked nice. Then I got a text saying 5 minutes and I'm coming to your door. Then my dad walked in from the shops holding this gigantic gold, like real gold frame, and it was huge. Like, there was no need for it, it wouldn't fit in the house, but he had this huge frame. And then I got another text saying 1 minute, and then I woke up. I don't get it. And then that whole day afterwards, because I was in the house on my own because my mum was at work, I was so scared. Every shadow, every like leaf I saw blow across the floor, I would jump, because it was another dream that affected me in that way, because it was just so weird and made no sense, but it just was so smooth and like flowed so perfectly into one another. I don't know. This next dream was from a couple weeks ago, and it's another one of them just short ones that didn't really have any story or anything. It was just literally me waking up in my dream and then that was it. Basically, I woke up in this mental asylum strapped down to a bed, and I can remember the room so clearly, and I know that it was a mental hospital, but it was kind of like, it wasn't like a room in a mental hospital. It was, I know you guys won't know what this, like size-wise and what it would look like, but basically in my nan's house she's got her living room and then it goes on to a dining room. Basically it was like half the size of her dining room slash living room, so it was like a square. Then it had the bed here, so this is like one wall and the door is here. The bed was here, her window was here like it is in her house. There was a sofa going here and looking that way, and then there was a TV here, and then there was another door near the TV. I'll try and draw it out and insert a picture. Basically that's what it looked like. No one came in, I didn't see anyone in that dream. I literally woke up strapped to a bed in a room that looked like my nan's living room, and that was it. This last dream then happened the night after the mental asylum dream, and again this was like based in my nan's house, except my nan wasn't there and wasn't living there. It was my granny's house, who lives in London. Basically I was in my nan slash at this point granny's room She was sleeping on the opposite side of the bed where my nan sleeps. The TV was for some reason on the bedside table right next to where she was lying, and she was going to watch Ghost Adventures. And because I was staying there, and instead of, I'm talking really fast because I'm getting like so into it, basically instead of me sleeping in the spare room like I always do, I was going to sleep on the couch. I don't know why. But she had Ghost Adventures on, and I'm like, oh, I love Ghost Adventures, I might watch that, but is it the new Ghost Adventures? Because the new ones are kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very scared of them because the like little cutscenes that they do are very terrifying, and I didn't want to watch that one and then have a nightmare before I go to sleep, as in sleep in my dream. So I looked away to make sure that I didn't see what one it was, and my granny was like, yeah, it's the new one, you probably shouldn't watch it. So I went, okay, walked downstairs, and I heard something in the kitchen. So my instant reaction was just to run into the living room and hide behind her dining room table. This person must have heard me. I don't know why I'm laughing, it's just weird how much I remember. This person must have heard me run into the living room because he walked in and he must have seen my poof, because that wouldn't have, it wasn't hidden. And the first thing I saw were these black polished shoes. And I looked up and they were like these beige kind of chino-like trousers. And I looked up to about here and he was wearing a navy jackets or like jumpers that kind of are up a roll neck but have the zip that are like here. And when I looked at the face, it was Ren from Pretty Little Liars. I don't know why, but Ren broke into my nan/granny's house. And if you guys don't know or don't watch Pretty Little Liars, so you don't know who Ren is, this is who it is. I don't know, that doesn't make sense. I hadn't watched Pretty Little Liars. Now, because of the weird dreams I've been having for the past 6 or 7 months, I don't even know how long, I've been watching episodes of SpongeBob before I go to sleep, just so I don't have nightmares. And these happened literally 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know what's wrong with me, but yeah. So they were the weird dreams I have had and may possibly have in the future for the past probably 10 years maybe. If you for some reason liked this video or found it interesting, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you're not already. Like I said in the beginning, I'll leave links to where I got the meanings of this stuff from if you want to read further into it. I just find dreams and stuff like that so fascinating, so I'll leave links to where I found the meanings of each dream down below, and yeah. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!